Exactly.
I will call to order the, are you recording?
Yep,
Okay.
I couldn't start it from out
Oh,
here.
there you go.
Started it.
Okay, I will call to order the Sun River Service District Managing Board meeting for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. As always, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand under the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and we will then do the roll call. Director Kelly? Here. Director Shoemaker?
Here.
Director Hepburn?
Here.
Director Ralston?
Here.
Chair is present, ex-officio Snyder?
Here.
All right, we are all here. We have a quorum. And next item on the agenda is public input. Do we have any public input today?
I didn't check.
Do we have any public input online? Seeing none, we will move to the next. We would like to, as the Sun River Service District, extend its sincere appreciation to outgoing board members Bill Hepburn and John Ralston for their too many to count, years of dedicated service and commitment. Would you like me to do stuff, or would you like to?
Go ahead, Chair.
Okay. Now I gotta remember all the stuff. I think some of you might have been observing it up front, but we have cards for both directors. We have a frame service district print with photogenic people.
So we're not in it?
And we have police and fire patches, as well as a challenge coin. And you can explain what these are.
There's just a wine decanter and glasses with each one of your names inscribed on them.
Engraved.
So appreciate good opportunity if either of you would like to say something. Good reasons included. You can't be renominated.
It's been, to say the least, an interesting 7 years. A lot accomplished other than this building, a lot of other things that we've accomplished in that 7 years. A lot of great people to work with, great people in police and fire departments, both these chiefs, the previous chiefs. Not to mention the privilege of getting to know the police officers and firefighters, folks like Mr. Cedar over there, all the contributions that he's made. And I can't say this is my accomplishment because I didn't do it, but one of the things I'm probably most proud of is watching Mindy grow into the job that she's doing now.
Thank you, sir.
She was given the job rather unceremoniously.
Here, do it. Please.
And we went through a lot the first year. And she hung in there, and the service district is in great hands because of the job that she's now doing and grown into. So
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed working with you, both of you. It's been a challenge for my 5 years here. It's,
Absolutely awesome.
but we're gonna
Well,
miss you.
just a few days ago, to say ditto what you said, because you pretty much stole everything. It has been 6 years, long, good, fun, 6 years actually. Ron Schmid got me on the board and pushed me because he knew I was an architect, and I think we had ulterior motives that we were sitting in. And we went through COVID. During the course of COVID, we watched Zoom improve and start to work. And then Bill asked me to be vice chair, which was like, me, what? You nuts? During that time, we went through some horrendous HR issues, which we slogged through and got there. And part of it's now Mindy sitting there. Jim got going on the strategic plan, and he had a focus on the building in that. Then that kind of turned into, okay, let's go. So we got preliminary design work done. Everybody liked that. And then an incredible task force was put together that actually made this thing happen. People with great skills from all walks of life that actually did it. And then the county came in and gave us money. It was just great. So we're almost done with that. I'm extremely proud of that. That's kind of like my life's ending. It brings everything to a really, really good end. And then working with all these folks, good people, the board, the chiefs, we had 2 fires, 4 police chiefs, and incredible staff. I'll definitely miss all of you. I'll miss the experience and the ability to be able to give to the community and to SSD. And then sometimes I won't really miss it at all. So thank you all very much.
I was remiss in not thanking John, sorry about that. In my 3 years as chair, I couldn't have done it without John's support. And he had my back and I knew it, and I got a good friend out of it too, so thank you, John.
Yeah, we're celebrating tonight at Ariana.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Yeah, and I'll add my personal thanks to the both of you. You've been invaluable on the board. I got to see you when you started on the board, and I get to see you end on the board. So maybe I'm the one with the problem. But it's been great, and hopefully we continue to see you and get your sage advice. And you can freely give it, knowing that at least not immediately, we're not calling you back to sit in the chair and vote. So appreciate both of you.
We're not rid of me yet. We still gotta wrap up this.
You're building the food shop.
And then taking care of getting this nominating committee thing going and started, move forward on that, but won't give you that much.
And I would just like to add, I mean, these 2 people have been pillars of the Sun River Service District for 6 and 7 years respectively, I believe. I've only been here with 5, but they were just, they've been amazing, and the time, the dedication that they've committed to the district, and to go through a new building, to go through some not so fun matters, to get a measure on a ballot and figure out how the heck do we even do that, and get it, a whole campaign to get it approved for this building. The building, my God, the hours that you guys just put into volunteer to get this going, transitioning and from duties being, joint with SROA to bring those internal, numerous hiring for chief positions, which aren't easy. And so it's just, you guys have not only devoted your time as board members, but just have been incredible parts of how great things are running now. And I appreciate having you guys to kind of trudge through with. And it's been good and great to know you, and you'll be missed, especially at the board meetings. Come on, which you can still attend, and I would like to say you can be off for a year and then reterm if you would like. So thank you both. I'm going to miss you immensely.
May see me again in a few years.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would select myself on an UMCOM committee.
You'll roll off eventually. Right.
Thank you both.
And then I want to add an item here before we move into the consent agenda, and I will actually turn it over to John as a member of the nominating committee to introduce our 2 future new board members who are both here. Thank you both for coming.
We'll go. Okay. So last meeting, we told you guys about who had been selected, and they've now made it through the total process. The county has approved them. So we have Ken Zook. Hi, everybody. And we have Jill Stevens. And I'll let them talk about themselves rather than listen to me gab a whole bunch. So, Jill, why don't you start and
John, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
You forgot one more.
You guys?
Yeah, 2 more.
I already know you guys.
Oh,
I'm not reintroducing myself.
no.
Thank you for your service, John and Jim. Got you a cookie.
Great, I'm Jill Stevens. I know almost everybody in the room, and I'll probably get to know some of the rest of you a little bit more. And I get to know my new fellow partner here. Really appreciate the honor of being selected for the service district. My husband had been on this service district a couple of years ago for a couple of years, and
He was awesome.
he was awesome. Yep.
We're getting an upgrade. We're getting an upgrade.
Yeah, well, exactly. That financial upgrade. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's been a privilege to work with Chief Booth and Chief Rasick as part of the foundation, the Police and Fire Foundation, and to be able to interview everyone. I mean, that's been a real joy to me, to be able to interview Doug Cedar and many of the officers and firefighters and stuff like that. And now I get to take this into more of an official role. I've been looking for how I can make the most contribution during my retirement. I think that's the joy of retiring, is you get to put your time where where you feel like your commitments are. And so that's why I'm here. I have a background in strategy and finance and marketing and communication, and I would say maybe my best thing is collaboration. And so my goal is to collaborate with all of you, understand the issue, and make stuff really happen.
Also, as I said before, one of the very strong points that I saw with Jill was that she served as the director of the dog parks of Southwest Washington.
Out of all of your achievements, that's what put you over.
For a while, I was on the board of directors for horse-mounted archery. So
Oh, wow. I would love that.
I'm not sure about horse-mounted archery, but when you talk about going to the dogs, yeah, that does bring to mind the SSD board, so.
Okay,
So I'm Kent Zook and a resident of Sun River on the other end of Sun River up by the driving range. My wife and I are transitioning here from both of our houses. I'm down here, trying to be down here half-time now. I'm also recently retired, so I've always believed in giving back. I've been involved in boards along the way, school boards and other different boards. And when this opportunity came up, I kind of blame this guy over here. But it fits with my skill set. I spent my whole career as an engineer and in sales and marketing and finance and, various roles like that. So lots of time in front of the public. And I'm comfortable with that, as well as just generally whatever we need to do to get the job done. So I appreciate the honor of doing this. Look forward to it. Well, some of you guys are like, why would you want to do this? That's okay. So thank you.
It's a Dina.
I know you guys are gonna love this. It's very, very rewarding, as you just saw our little speeches going out. Someday you may get the same thing, and there's some sticky moments, and there's great moments, and it's just very, very rewarding. So thank you and congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
And welcome, we look forward to you winning the board.
Right, and John and I aren't that difficult to replace. So.
I never liked replacement because that always made people sound like spark plugs. So I always said, taking over. But either way, we look forward to you taking over the positions. And again, thanks to Bill and John for all their dedicated service. Let us move on to the consent agenda, item 1. So we have 5 items on the consent agenda. Our June 19, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, the SROA invoice in the amount of $6,791.45. And then we have renewal of the flock safety license plate readers, as well as the Lexipol system for, this is police only, correct? And then we have a Deschutes County legal invoice in the amount of $18,000
Is that for per month?
Per year.
per year. That's an annual.
It says quantity is 12 on the invoice.
I think it's just 12 months. It's a yearly invoice.
It wasn't hours.
So we contract with Deschutes County Legal for the full year, and it costs us just a flat $18,000 a year.
I'm imagining that will go up next year.
Yes, because we had to kind of wheel and deal to get it just to go up a little bit for this year. But it's much of a savings to the district.
The county is not charging us for any HR.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, this is basically the only county service that they charge us for.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Kelly?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Hepburn?
Yes.
Director Ralston? Yep. Chair votes yes, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to old business. We are at item 2, the public safety building. I will turn it over to PM Nelson to give us an update on where we are with this beautiful facility.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Start with SROA. We've gone through and done some painting and removed some spikes off a gate. The last item is the monument sign that's scheduled for September 5th. So that's the last item for the SROA. 40 approvals that we've seen, and still waiting for a completion notice from an SROA.
I was over there yesterday or day before, and Shane hasn't done his final walkthrough, so we can expect that. Then he was rumbling about the color of the post, that it doesn't match the Shugi bond quite close enough, so we'll see if he comes back with that. And then there's the issue of the new lavender downspouts. Someone picked that, couldn't have been me. I'm gonna have that done silver, so just not gonna say it like that.
Do we have to go back to the committee for that?
For me, it'll get done quick.
All right.
They hate it too.
Oh, they do?
My mistake, we held it, it looked perfect when, whatever, but it's just like, oh, God.
That just tells you how good this town is. It makes everything else look awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on the construction side, Kirby Nagelhout, we still have 31 plus items on their warranty list remaining to get done. We've sort of ratcheted up our communications in the past week.
A lot.
And so we'll be having a meeting with them, and they will assign someone to finish things up in a prudent manner.
When you say they'll assign someone, is that they've committed to do so, or is that just wishful thinking?
Joe committed to get somebody assigned to get this done
Okay.
just the other day. So, yeah, I was on vacation last week, so when I came back, it was kind of the same as it's been. So I elevated it up to Joe Linger. He's taking that, and they'll get somebody assigned because Cody is no longer with Kirby. He's moved to Phoenix. And so anyway, we will move on with getting this done, and that includes their final payment, the apparatus bay fix that we're going to have to pay for initially, which we've approved last month or a month before. And so that's the Kirby side.
There has been some strong language, and it's basically time to get off the pot, get this thing done now. And
Well, and I'd hate to have this be our last impression of Kirby. Seeing how they did a phenomenal job during the construction, I'd hate to see them fall flat on their faces after 8 months after we moved in.
So that will be taken care of before the next board meeting. That's my guarantee. How's that?
I'm Phoenix, already.
The South Apron project, I've met with the geotech. They've initiated the state program for the underground dry well stuff, and they will mobilize a drilling rig to get test samples and percolation tests done in the next month. Waiting for the rig to become available. It's fairly busy in the summer around here, so hopefully we'll have that. Civil engineering is proceeding with getting the engineering done with the scope of work we've described and discussed with them previously. They are checking with Deschutes County to see what kind of permit, or if we even need a permit with them. We will need a permit with SROA, obviously, but he's going to confirm what we need with Deschutes County. So anyway, and that will be a construction effort that will happen next spring. Let's see.
What did they use to paint stainless steel?
Hmm?
What did they use to paint the stainless steel?
Well, we got a special paint that's supposed to stick, but is it gonna rub off over time? Probably.
it's just a,
I know, I that's why I was asking, I'm just,
We went directly to the paint manufacturer and said, this is what we're using it for, so what do you think? They gave us a special paint that they it was good for that, and the aluminum vertical joint. So we'll see.
Okay.
It hasn't washed off yet.
We're so steady.
It's,
Wait till that.
the design committee is following the rules and guidelines that it's set to adhere to. Sometimes it can be painful, but I do want to make sure that, you know, we understand that they're doing their job like we're trying to do our job. And that's where negotiation comes in.
Absolutely.
We've completed a bunch of small projects in the last month. We're going to extend the sandbagging a little bit farther than they are right now because the big washout over the weekend showed that we probably could use a little more. So we will do that, and it's temporary, and hopefully the snowplows won't churn that up over the winter, but no comments there. So any questions or concerns on the status of construction? If not, we have a rather small funding request this month, total of $24,964.50. I believe everything was itemized in the agenda. Yes, so
I like that number a lot better than like the 1.2 million that we were doing for a while. So thank you.
that one big one coming.
Yeah, now.
Couple.
All right. So it is the 24,964.50 that you have in the documentation.
Yes.
All right. So we would need a motion to approve the July funding request of $24,964.50.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there no further discussion? I will call for the vote. Director Kelly?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Hepburn?
Yes.
Director Ralston?
Yep.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. All right. Anything else that you want to say, Doug, or are we good?
No, we have to get this done. It's been, everybody's been patient long enough. How's that?
Take your break, John. Okay, we can move on to, we're gonna figure out how to transition this one, John. The status of the SSD reserve study. I will turn it over to Director Ralston to give us a very brief update.
So I'm still gonna hang around till this one's done too. So basically, as you know, it's been kind of in limbo, waiting to get all these final numbers. It still is. Now we've kind of lit in the fire. Hopefully by the next board meeting, we'll have much more information. However, Mindy, bless her heart, has taken this spreadsheet that I had started months ago and started populating it. And so it's starting to come together. And this, at the end of the day, would come down to what the expenses are, what our projected incomes are from the bond, from the interest, everything. And then what the reserve study is going to suggest we spend in what years. We'll have a chart that lists, that goes out for years and tells us what we've got, where we're at, what needs to be done when, and where we're going to be. So that's big progress just to get this going. So thanks, Mindy. And she's added to it and fixed it up. So that's where that sits.
Okay. Any questions for Director Ralston? Okay. All right, item 4 is update on status of fire chief and administrator annual performance reviews. They were delivered to both the chief and the administrator. There's still a little bit of follow-up conversation that we need to do, but and then we'll get those signed and put in the permanent files. But thank everybody. I thank everybody for their input that provided it, and we will move forward. And this time next year, we'll be doing 3 reviews. So I hope we're doing 3 reviews. So item number 5, update and status of public safety building art. That comes to me. I did meet with Director Ralston, and we have selected one set of internal photographs, actually, from Holly Fisher, that will go in. We will determine whether they're in the lobby or in here, and then John and I will meet to also pick another set for the opposite space. So I'm anticipating that the art will be up by the 1st of September or thereabouts. So we will no longer have to stare at the stark white wall. And then we'll start working at some of the internal spaces as well.
The stuff currently that Jim showed me with the gallery at the Sun River Lodge, where he was curating it. Most of the photos are going to be dealing with local aspects, Oregon aspects, not outside. There's some fantastic Patagonia shots, but this is Oregon, this is Central Oregon, so we're pushing for that.
So we'll continue to find stuff, and we'll get actually a schedule for Betty Gray. We usually try and have about a schedule about a year out, so we will work on that and have that going. But we should have the art up soon. We can discuss hanging systems later. I think this time I'll just put some holes in the wall and patch them up if necessary. All right. Moving on to item number 6. It was pointed out to us that we had never actually approved the strategic plan that Director Shoemaker worked so hard on. So we have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-012 to accept the 2025 to 2029 SSD strategic plan. Do we have a motion?
Oh, just a comment. There are some typographical errors in there.
There were some typographical errors that a citizen helpfully pointed out, and we could probably approve the strategic plan as noted for correction.
Yes, the biggest concern was the mention of 50,000 versus $500,000 in there.
Yeah.
So things like that. But
We can tweak that.
yeah, okay. But yes, I agree.
All right, I will entertain a motion. All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not, I will call for the vote. Director Kelly. Director Shoemaker.
Yes.
Director Hepburn.
Yes.
Director Ralston.
Yep.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. And then SSD nominating committee update. I'll turn it over to Mr. Ralston, and we do have 2 other nominating committee members, Mr. Hepburn and Mr. Schneider, as well as Administrator Holliday, who participated. So I will let you give us an update on where we are with that.
Okay, so we met Monday or Tuesday, I think, to go over kind of a lessons learned, what we've learned from the first time going through this, and what we can do to improve it. You guys jump in anytime to fill in. One thing that we are going to be doing is putting together a handbook for the nominating committee members, so that going forward when we're gone and out here, the ideas and the intent that we put forward carries on. And so, and then our policies, procedures, how we get things done will be in that as well. We do need 2 new members. Ron is going off the board, or off the nominating committee. He sold his house. 1 member per charter needs to be a SSD board member. Currently, Bill and I fill that until the end of the month. Jim has volunteered to be that member because John and Danny are going off in a year. And so what we want to do is maintain the way this thing fluctuates. We don't have everybody going off at the same time. We want to have it staggered. So thank you for that, Jim. We do need 1 more member, though. Charter says that the SSD board is to select the nomination committee. Well, we're here to help you. And so Mindy is putting together some ways to put some advertising into the scene, to notify people, to try to bring people in. My concern was, well, gee, what if they don't know anything? Well, then we don't select them, I guess. But maybe we get some very good folks that can help us out. So we would then select that person, bring and work with Jim to get their approval. Then we talked about, gee, what happens if one of us passes away, moves, or becomes unable to serve on the SSD board? Having 7 members, that wasn't a huge issue, but with 5, it's more of an issue. And so we discussed that with Jim today, and our feeling is that that is the nominating committee's decision to fill that role, because we want to keep the nominating committee and SSD board separate as we can. It's still combined, but separate. And so we would then either go back to a member that had applied but wasn't selected but was next in line and asked them if they would like to. We may go back to a former board member and ask them to serve. That person would also need to get authorization from the county commission and approval. What have I missed?
Nope, you got it.
And, you know, my input to them was, let's make sure that we're keeping, the nominating committee, separate and independent and the authority in terms of, future board members, as we discussed in the charter. And then I guess my only suggestion is we probably should formally approve the new nominating committee members. There's no rush immediately. And so, let's find another, at least one other member, through the advertising, and then we can probably just pull this on at the same time. And if there's a need to change that due to an emergency, we can. Let's not have any emergencies. Nope.
Because the October meeting is when you vote for officers anyway, so that might be a nice time to add that in. And also, John, I think one thing that was important that the committee talked about is that they're always preparing for a vacancy on the board, just so that you're ready to act. So having a lot of these processes in place in the handbook and kind of a list of people, you know, to pull from is important, considering it's a small.
They want to get that handbook going.
Yeah.
One thing came up today is like, everybody points out, well, gee, we have an application form for wanting to be a member that they submit to us, but what about an application form to be on the nominating committee? So like, well, gee, okay. So.
Yeah, working through stuff.
Yeah.
First year, yeah.
Right? Any additional input? And again, thanks to the nominating committee for finding, 2 excellent new members. We won't talk about the other 2 and our feelings about them, right? Okay.
Sometimes you're just kind of stuck. Well, actually, one thing I do want to say is for the first year, the first attempt, it actually went rather well.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
obviously, there's things we could do better next time, which we all expected there to be, but all in all.
Bruises have healed.
Yeah. And both John and I know it's more than $20. So. All right. Save up my pennies. All right. Moving on, we are into new business, and we are at our monthly chief. Thanks, Doug. We're at our monthly chief administrator reports, and in the ever exciting round robin, Fire Chief Booth is up first.
Thank you, Director, board members. Go ahead and look at the dashboard first. So total monthly calls in July versus 2024, 2025, we're down 1 call, so about even what we ran last year. And that's a total of all the fire responses, EMS responses, and public assist calls on the left side. Turnout times a little bit higher than what we were last year. Response times are a lot quicker. Scenes back to service. We've had some calls. We're mutilating down in Lapine a little bit more, so returns back to calls. It does take us a little bit longer to get back in service.
Mm-hmm.
Training hours are about the same that we had in last July. MVA is down less. A lot of it has to do with the, the highway, the way it's designed. Most of our car accidents have been kind of that Vanderbilt Road section right in there. That seems to be a hot spot right down in that section there.
So I'm trying to remember, we go south to Vanderbilt and we go north to where?
We go north to High Desert Museum.
So 145.
Yeah, we go where the barriers are. So we've got Bend coming and then we go, it could be on either side. People call in the calls. They may not be accurate if they're going north, south. So we all roll. So then whoever side it's, the road it's on gets the call. So, and then you can look at 2024, 2025 mutual aid. Lapine upstaffed. We both received a Oregon State Fire Marshal upstaffing grant, but they have quite a few students in their program. So they were able to staff a lot of vehicles. So we weren't going down to Lapine as much as we did in 2024, and total calls we're down year to date that we were last year. So
that to me says the system is working. I mean, I know you and Chief Halsey have spent a lot of time having a dialogue in terms of how to make sure that we're balancing the calls. So, I mean, this says it's working. Good job.
Yeah, so it's working out pretty good. We're not getting, we're not pulling Ben down here as often, so, which has been great. Any questions on the dashboard?
The turnout time. A year ago, they were downstairs here in the temporary quarters. Is that attributed to just the new building?
No, yeah.
2 minutes seems to be a long time even for this building.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the building. It depends on the type of call, if they're moving gear, because we're cross-staffing rigs and that kind of stuff. So there's a few variables there, but no, it's not the building per se. Yeah. The buildings, I mean, it's a lot quicker the way the building's set up than when we were, in there. But I think last summer they were spending a lot of time in the bays because they didn't want to be in the building because of all the construction that was going on, right? Remember, we were full force at that point. And they were out, like they tried to stay out of the building during the day. So, yeah.
61K in ambulance building. Good job on that.
Yeah.
They're stuck down there in the break room. Pretty much during the day.
Yeah, but a lot of times during the day, they didn't want to be in.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that they didn't have anywhere to go, basically. Let's see, and then in the report, administrative negotiations are still ongoing. Kim's been involved from the county as our attorney. We had a meeting 4 weeks ago. Last Monday, thank you. They brought in their attorney, so kind of going down that direction, but we're still ongoing with negotiations. Went down, met with the Newberry Regional Partnership on defensible space, which was quite interesting. I mean, they have a lot of questions about how we do things in Sun River, which I think they take back because they've got a lot of different homeowners associations, Caldera. I mean, they've got, a lot of different areas. So it was interesting to be there. Central Oregon Fire Chiefs meeting last month or a couple weeks ago. Met with Sun River Utilities. Came to light that they were doing trench work and they weren't notifying us of closing roads. And so I actually went down to one road and then we would have zero access into those homes with the trench work. So I met with Sun River Utilities to come up with a traffic flow plan. So they're they're right on top of it. So it's just, I think you have to do that every couple of years, have those conversations with them. So we've got a lot of road construction coming up with SROA and they're great to work with because they know and they line us out, talk to market. So there'll be a lot of road construction in September and a little bit into October before the weather hits. Project Wildfire meeting we had this week went good. On the operations side, we had an operations meeting with all of our company officers. Very productive meeting. Rod runs that meeting, Chief Bjorbeck. And it was a good meeting. A few changes here and there, but for the most part, I think everybody's motivated about, what we have going on here in Sun River. We're pretty excited. So, we've had 6 conflagration fires in Oregon, 3 located in Central Oregon this year, which has been kind of an anomaly. Most of them have been up in the Jefferson County area. So, but that's kind of where the big fires have been. You can tell weather has been cooperative this year. No smoke in the air. We've had a lot of rain this summer, and things are looking good. Knock on wood. I mean, we're doing pretty good this year, and I don't really see a lot of fires. There's nothing going on in Washington, Oregon right now. The majority of the big fires are Montana and Colorado. So that's really the states that are burning. So
Weather this weekend, but no thunderstorm activity. That's good news.
no wind. I mean, we've had no wind. Wind carries fires, and there has not been heavy winds. It's not been gusty. But luckily, we've been pretty lucky on that. Most of the conflagration fires have all been human caused, though. So that's always a concern. AIC engineer training is scheduled for completion this month. So we'll just have about everybody will be trained up to AIC engineer, which has been something we've been working on. So hopefully that'll have an impact on our overtime because we won't have to bring people in. So been focusing on that and getting them completed with that. Community events, we had the National Night Out. Chief can talk all about it. He was the star of the show, along with Mr. Cedar. His organization of it all was phenomenal. And then we always do coffee with the chief. And I think we're probably done with that. We haven't had a lot of people showing up. We've had coffee with the chiefs. Yeah. The two of us get to know each other.
Coffee.
Yeah. And that's the end of my report, unless you have any questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask if would it be valuable to either the board or you to track these when you get paid to go outside and cover those fires, that maybe the time and what reimbursement we get for that?
Yeah, we'd keep track of all of that.
Okay. Would we want to see that on this report?
I have it as part of my report.
It's in the financials.
Yeah, it's in the financials.
You bet.
Just, and I could throw out if you wanted to try one more coffee with the chief. I know that Sheriff Rupert has been saying he wants to get out and have some coffee. Might be a good idea to invite him down and see if we can draw a crowd. Sure. No. All right, any questions for Chief Booth? All right, next is Chief Rassick for the police report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bringing your attention to the dashboard, I actually want to put our calls for service are up slightly over last year. The self-initiated activity is most notable, while the calls for, the crime reports are actually down. So it's nice to see that. I think it's the signs of a really healthy police department. As you can see in my report, 16 of the 51 investigations were outside of Sun River. There was a total of 18 calls for service in the neighborhood of Caldera Springs and Crosswater. Of those, 5 were responded to solely by Sun River Police, 12 of them by the Sheriff's Department, and 1 of them by both Sun River and the Sheriff's Department. The bike patrol, they continue to provide a fantastic service for the community with well over 2,000 civilian contacts. As summer starts to wrap up, we're starting to lose some of them. They will all head back to school, although we will have 2 of them on at least in some capacity through the month of September. So they will be here on and off. And of course, then we have the Citizens Patrol who are a fixture in the community and continue to do a great job and serve the events like the 4th of July, where it just wouldn't be possible for us to have those events without them. Administratively, with the onboarding of Chris Conway, we, for the first time in many years, are fully staffed. I'm really very happy with staffing at the police department and just the atmosphere, walking around. I think that, again, the advantages of having a fully staffed police department is not going unnoticed by everybody over there. Twice in the last month or so, I have met with the supervisors, which include the sergeants and the corporals, to talk about, well, really everything's on the table. And we have covered everything from staffing and training and evaluations. And I'm really, really happy with the level of involvement and the enthusiasm I seem to be getting from my supervisors. And it's everything even down to how are we processing? Is there a standard operating processing injury claims or training requests and all of that? We spent a lot of time looking at streamlining and maybe consolidating some of the computer programs that we use to making sure that they're applicable to what we're doing at the police department, and 2, to make sure that they are the most financially responsible way to be using that technology. And again, with Chief Booth, he and I meet periodically to make sure that a lot of those systems, the procedures that we are doing are consistent with both the police department and the fire department. I continue to serve as the chair for Central Oregon Law Enforcement. There's really nothing noteworthy coming out of there. And moving on to operations, I'm not sure if you heard about this or not. Back in July, Officer Mann received a radio call a little bit after midnight down in the waterworks area, the Oregon Waterworks area. And this individual who was known to police officers, she went down there. The report came in as a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and she was able, with some degree of disregarding her own safety, was actually able to go in, render the scene safe, and apply a tourniquet on this individual, and likely saved his life. So she has received an internal commendation as well as a commendation from the Sheriff's Department for her service in that. And then again, just wrapping it up, as the chief mentioned, the community events, we have the chat with the chief down at the coffee shop, the 4th of July bike parade and festival. Again, thanks to the Citizens Patrol for that. And of course, we continue with our station tours. And if there's any questions for me, I think that's all.
Any questions for Chief Rassick? All right, thank you. And we will move on to the administrator's report. Administrator Holliday, it's all yours.
Thank you. So I know there's quite a bit in my report this time, but there was a few things I wanted to follow up on some requests from the board from last meeting. The first one is the June fire stats. I worked with Heather and there was just a calculation, I believe Vice Chair Shoemaker noticed last month that the year-to-date totals didn't carry forward to the new amount on that sheet. So I included the updated June statistics as a part of my packet with the corrected numbers on there. So that was just an error as far as carrying forward some of the calls from the previous statistics for the month. Also, the insurance, the board wanted me to look into the added insurance for the art as part of the agreement with the Artists Gallery of Sun River. So we added a rider to the policy, and it was just $200 annually. And so I just went ahead and approved that and submitted it, and that was effective August 1st. I wasn't quite sure timing with art, so it's a matter of dollars. And then electronic check signature update. So I know there's been some, interest in having something that the board can sign remotely for checks. And I've been working with Liam, our third-party accountant. QuickBooks actually doesn't offer this as the ability to sign real time. So I'm looking into some third-party applications that connect with QuickBooks to offer that. But in the meantime, I've also been especially as the building's coming to close and the amount of checks per week, has gone down a little bit. Maybe just doing a electronic signature PDF, and the whole PDF, the whole check package is, part of that. Someone reviews all the documentation. They sign a signature page on the front saying, yes, I approve all these checks. And then we can just run the checks with a JPEG image of, the chair or the treasurer's signature on the document. So still working on that. And then the other question was splitting out the fiscal year 2025 fire overtime breakdown. And so, like Treasurer Kelly mentioned, that's for the first time in this packet. And so I'm more than happy to add that to the monthly financials as well, especially just in the summer months as we, have the chief and the deputy chief out on calls. But I just wanted to go over that document really quick, because I think it's page 3 of my update. So for fiscal year 25, that top box, it just shows I split out the fire chief and deputy chief overtime, which is just about $74,000. And then it's all of the other staff's overtime is at about 292 for a total of $366,000. And so I just showed what the budget is and that being over budget. But then I pulled out the fire chief and deputy chief's overtime because we get reimbursed for that, but that's over in the receivables, right? So you've got the overtime and expenses, you've got the reimbursement and receivables. But even with pulling that out, there was an overage of the overtime for last fiscal year. So that was something that the board was interested in seeing, knowing that overtime is over budget, but separating it out to see exactly what was causing that. And then down below, Heather put together this great spreadsheet, and I just tweaked it a little bit to show which calls for last fiscal year each chief went on. And so you can see on the left-hand side the totals for labor, equipment, lodging, meals for the totals for each fire. So we submitted for reimbursement just over $200,000. And to this date, the only one that we've not received back is when Chief Booth went on Tropical Storm Helene. And that's just because that's the feds, not the state, and they take a little longer. And so then to the right of that, then you can see the breakdown of how we received those funds. So going through to do payroll and then the fringe, I work with Heather to get what's the burden? How much, is it for the health insurance? All these different factors, the taxes, the things the district pays on top of the salary, and then same with the overtime. So you'll see the overtime total is 158,000, but the overtime above was only 73,000. That's because that 73 doesn't account for the fringe, right? Because that comes out of different areas. Because it's about, for each employee of the district, burden for each employees anywhere between 50 and 60% of their salary. So it's rather large. And then of course, then the other items shows the labor. So that would be the total of those two, the payroll and the OT. And then you've got the equipment, which is just a contracted amount. And Chief, I don't know a lot about that, but it's just basically in the contract, you get so much money for whatever vehicle or something per day. And then the totals are there. So we started a new fiscal year. I believe we've already got a couple fires, so I'll add that to next month's financials. So you can see, okay, I might also keep Helene on there and keep as a carry forward of some of the receivables we've not yet received yet for this fiscal year, but just a breakdown. So I don't know, does the board find that helpful? Is that something you'd want to see every month?
How do you handle that? Because it was do you just not count it as a receivable until the money comes in? Or like on a cash basis or?
Mm-hmm. So for instance, last October, I believe, we even received one for fiscal year 24. So there's just kind of a carry forward based on whenever you get the funds, because you got to kind of close the books and move forward.
As long as the auditors are happy, I think.
They're happy with that process, so then works for me. Any questions on that document? Okay. Moving on then just to my report. Speaking of auditors, I'm working with them to prepare for the audit to start for fiscal year 25. They'll be on site September 5th, and I'm preparing the documents and uploading that. There was a couple of tax issues with the federal taxes that I'm working on with ADP. And in addition to that, working to gather information and reaching out to other networks and people to look at some of the payroll implications of the one big beautiful bill that went through. So there's going to be some implications from that, and just not a lot of people have quite figured out how to deal with that. So I'm just kind of trying to keep up to date on that as much as information comes out and direction from the federal government. Let's see, just looking at the year-end financial projections for last fiscal year to make sure we're on track. Then to skip down, just meeting with some of the representatives from some of the benefits that the district offers, onboarding and offboarding. We'll be offboarding quite a few bike patrol here in the coming weeks. And then like Chief Booth mentioned, contract negotiations with the fire. And then I'm also working with fire staff and soon to be police staff to enhance the employee assistance program, just to make sure it's something that not only the employees know about, but really providing resources. There's times where, employees may encounter something that's really tragic, and I just want to make sure that they understand what services are available 24/7 and everybody has access to that. So the fire department's been really great on moving forward with that as well. I had another executive assistant poached from me, 2 for 2. So Brittany accepted the position of the police department executive assistant, and she's doing outstanding. So right now I'm kind of keeping that position open because as we move through things, I want to really assess what is needed for that position, not only from a budgetary standpoint, but just, there's just been so many moving parts over the last year that I want to make sure we're really understanding what's needed. So moving forward on that. The National Night Out, that was a lot of fun, and then coordinated with the Deschutes County Board of Commissioners and made sure that the appointments went through for our 2 new board members, and that all went well. And then officially we have transferred all emails and websites over to the .gov domain. So we are all now transitioned over. That's kind of been a long project, but that's really great to have that done. And then, yeah, just some professional development. Other than that, any questions?
So does Brittany now go to full-time?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, she's doing great.
And also just a note for the board, Mindy is becoming a Sun River resident. Yep.
Officially, finally?
Yep, we closed the 4th. So
Congratulations.
thank you. We're very excited. We got a great little gem over off Dogwood, off of Beaver, just past the Ridge condos, and it backs up to very large common area. I think it used to be the Fort Rock Park way back.
Yes.
One of the coolest commons.
Yeah, so we're excited. So Jackie's already mentioned design review committee and a couple other things, and I told her thank you, but no thanks.
Yes, we're nominating, I'm sure we'll be coming pretty soon.
So,
Like structure up early.
right, yeah, so anyway.
All right, questions for Administrator Holliday? If not, we'll move on to item 9, which is discussion and review of proposed changes to financial policy. We decided to make this a discussion rather than a discussion and approval. If everything goes smoothly, we can just approve it next month. But we just figured it would be better to not put the weight of potentially approving something on it at this time. I will turn it over to Mindy and John for this.
So I just trying to go with best practices for public meetings. It's kind of best to, when you're presenting something, a change, to have that at one meeting so that then the public has time to see it and then provide comment at the next meeting to then separate it out between 2 meetings for a vote. So I received a request from Vice Chair Shoemaker last month to look at the financial policies right now. I don't know if you want to. Do you want to talk about the increase from the 5 to 10,000 or?
Yeah, sure, I'll just touch on it, then you can dig into the other stuff.
Oh, you bet.
So that's kind of a bone of contention is that they've had the $5,000 chief approval for, I don't even know how long, forever. Obviously, with inflation and everything else, that number has really forced the board to review all their work. Almost everything. So to get around that, I propose that we bump up 10,000 for the chief approval. It makes sense. It still has oversight. It's still within budget. All those factors are still in place. It's time to let them do their job. So that's where I'm coming from. And most agencies, it's probably $25,000 level before it has to go to, process. And so it just makes sense.
How many decisions in a year would that change?
Probably no more than a handful.
We won't increase it then?
Yes. It's time.
I mean, increase it above what you're
Well,
saying.
you never know, because that could be an emergency where they need that authorization. And I know it's covered under the emergency EOP plan, but this makes it easy for them to not only prep for something that they see coming down the road, and we still provide the oversight. I mean, if it doesn't meet up with what the financial requirements are, it's going to come to light at the board meeting, and it'll be quickly evaluated and addressed.
So my suggestion my suggestion on looking at this is what we might want to do is set a limit where just in the finance report, we get a notification of approvals over X amount, and we can decide what amount that is, 1,000, 2,500, somewhere in there. So we're not being a barrier to the chiefs or to Administrator Holliday being able to sign those things, but we still do have oversight of what's being signed, and we're seeing the money come through. Because I have been on the board where we have talked about increasing these limits, and the comment has been that there's potential financial risk to the organization. So I think we can, after the fact, be monitoring that, and that will help eliminate that.
There's always going to be some, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's always some financial risk, but at the same time, it's being reviewed at Mindy's level as things come through.
Yeah.
She's catching it because the bills are coming in. And additionally, as you say, if we're notifying that on a monthly basis of those items above whatever amount is decided, I don't see what the risk is in the sense of, and it's, $10,000 these days, we can't even get a car repaired for that hardly.
We couldn't.
We couldn't, right? And that was the problem. So it kind of brought it to light. So that's what I'm proposing. And I
I'm
think they're,
certainly fine with the 10,000.
and for, input love to hear everybody else's input, but they've been at that 5,000 level for a very long time.
Well, if we can't trust the chiefs with a $9,800 purchase, then that would be our fault.
Right. When we hired the wrong person,
Yeah.
and then it's my fault. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very clear we've hired the right people.
Yes, exactly.
I also think it's worth noting that a board member or myself are the ones that are actually signing the checks. And so there is, even with that ability to pay or approve that much, there's also that second layer of financial oversight before you literally send out the check to be like, hey, what is this? So. Okay. Any other discussion on moving then that to from 5,000 to 10,000? Okay, so then the other thing, as I opened up this document, I just realized there was quite a few little tweaks just as we've changed in the last time it was reviewed. So the only other change is just the name of my title instead of board administrator to administrator. So I just removed the board as part of that. The other change was this spring, working with Deschutes County and getting better direction on the budget committee, and that it's the Deschutes County Budget Committee that approves our budget. There's not a separate SSD budget committee. So I made a reference to the finance committee, which we moved those members to a finance committee role for support and guidance, but then took out the information about SSD budget committee because it just doesn't apply anymore. And all those items are in red. I did track changes. The only other thing was just adding the Pledge of Allegiance. That was a new addition for our agendas. Changing, telephone meetings to virtual meetings, just coming into the age. And then also we changed the date of our meetings. So just some updates as far as just the last couple of years, there's been quite a few changes. So all those are in the packet, and they're pretty self-explanatory unless anybody has any other questions. I'll have a resolution ready for a board approval next month.
That was a good clean process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was noted to me again the other day how thankful they were that the budget process was cleared up for all the non-county districts.
Mm.
So you did a good job there.
Thank you.
Did that go on your review? No.
It's a report though.
Great. Any further questions on the financial policy changes or board policy changes? All right, we are on to our second most exciting item, which is item 10, the both June and fiscal year 2025 year end and July 25 unaudited financials. I will turn it over to Administrator Holliday.
Thank you, sir. So I will go through the fiscal year 25 financials first. So these are pretty close to what the year-end financials are going to look like. Of course, we will know after the audit's completed this fall. Just a few things I wanted to note: that the receivables, the revenue, quite a few pieces of that came in much more than what we had projected. So that's always good news. Primarily the conflag reimbursement Chief Booth and Deputy Chief Bjorvik worked a lot on that. But we also received quite a bit more in prior year tax collections than was estimated. So not sure why, but always happy to receive those funds. And then just the interest income coming in more. The board is always pretty conservative when it comes to the interest income, just because we don't want to assume too much that we'll get off that. So it's nice to see that came in over budget. To go to expenditures, just a couple things we already talked about, the fire department or the police department. The fire department overtime, but the police department overtime was over as well. And so that's something I know that's come up in the last year or so for budget. Like, is that something needs to be addressed? Because is that amount feasible moving forward? So I'll work with Chief Rassick on that. But overall, the police department salaries and benefits came in under budget. And then looking at materials and services, that came in under budget as well. Moving to fire department, like I said, we already talked about the overtime, which then inadvertently had the fire department salaries and benefits come in slightly over budget. However, that's offset by the fact that the fire department materials and services came in quite a bit under budget. So that was helpful to offset those costs. Bike patrol, we've talked about previously, their season bridges 2 financial years, so they're hired in May, so May and June they're in this financial year, and then July and August is in the next financial year. So when you see the percentages, at 67%, just know that that's only half, and then the other half is in the other the financial year. So they seem to be right on board. A little bit higher with some medical expenses and some uniforms, but we've addressed that, Chief Rassick and I, but overall it's still coming in under budget. Administration, that I provided the board with a message, I believe it was last month or the month prior, about why there's overages in the administration budget. And you'll see with the salaries and benefits, that's due to the executive assistant. There was 2 people coming out of that account during a transition period. And then materials and services came in just 0.03% over budget. But I did provide also that memo to share with the board why there was a slight overage there. So with all that to be said, the last page breaks out the 716 and 717 fund, which I'll get to, but at the bottom, there's a fund breakout as well. And you'll see that overall the 715 fund came into just at about 98%. So it looks like we have a surplus of about $145,000. But I will say that that's drastically less than any years past. So that nexus of expenses and revenue, we're definitely there. Then to go up top at the 716 capital fund, you'll see it was under budget. I believe fire purchased all their items, but police didn't end up purchasing or needing, I'm not sure which, some of the items for their vehicles, so it came in under budget, which is great. And then for 717, that came in under budget, which was helpful by that budget adjustment that we did at the end of the fiscal year. Not knowing for sure the last month or 2 what was going to come in, and just making sure the funds were available to cover any of those costs.
Looking at some of the things that are probably priority fixes on the building, like the south apron and some of the other things, I think it's still prudent that we transferred that money.
Yes. So you'll see below the 716 fund, we just came in under budget, just under $9,000 savings. And then for capital, and then for the building, it's at about $850,000 surplus to the good, which does include that $500,000 transfer. But there are some known bills out of that 850 that's going to be coming this fiscal year. And then that will last us until we get the influx of tax money in November for the bond to help cover those costs. So in a nutshell, these are the fiscal year 25 financials, and I'll be working with the auditors and Leanne to finalize those up and get those published.
So we do need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 unaudited financials. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Kelly?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Hepburn?
Yes.
Director Ralston? Chair votes yes, motion passes. So now you want to go on to July 25?
Yep, July, and these ones are always the easiest ones because the year-to-date and the month of July numbers are just the same. It's the first month of the year. Just on the revenue side, we already are coming in, it's the summertime, so we're coming up a little higher with ambulance charges already, so that's great to see. And even just court fines and fees, it looks like, it's a busy summer, so it's nice to see those expenses coming in over projected, just to get out of the gate. When you move on to expenditures, the police department salaries and benefits are right on track, right on budget. And then the total police department materials and services, a lot of fiscal year 26 contracts start in July. And so you'll see that's why materials and services are a little higher in the month of July, but that'll even out throughout the year. But we pay a lot of those just right out of the gate the first week of July.
Like our lawyers.
Like the lawyers, the flock, the ones that we just approved as well. Fire department salaries, just right on track there as well, for just 1 month in. And then materials and services, fire departments, for the month and so far year to date, because it's one and the same, is under budget for materials and services so far. Just let me know if you have questions or if I'm moving too fast. Bike patrol, like I said, for last fiscal year, this is now, this new fiscal year. So you'll see that those percentages are higher, but the budget is really only a 4-month long budget, total for the calendar year and only a couple months for the fiscal year. So they're still coming on, under budget, and then these funds will just kind of wait, and then they'll be used again in May and June for next summer. To go on to administration, salaries and benefits. So we had Brittany again for that portion of that month, and so that will kind of sit vacant until we address that situation. And then not a lot of movement in materials and services. A few of the things that were signed today for administration, but just haven't had a lot of bills yet and expenses for admin. For the 716 capital fund, you'll see it looks like fire was good about ordering their capital items right out of the gate. So we've already had some of those come through. So
They start the build in a month.
for the new truck, great. So we've been having some of those funds already go out. And then in the 717 fund, I did notice the systems and equipment, there's a 3,180 that must have been miskeyed because there's no budget for next fiscal year for systems and equipment. So I'm pretty sure that just needs to go into construction. I think for this fiscal year, we just did construction as kind of the catch-all for anything moving forward. So I'll make that change if you want to note that in the vote. But otherwise, there's not any billing really for 717 because you guys just approved the expenses in the beginning of the meeting. So, and then once again, just to keep with consistency down at the bottom, you can see a snapshot of each fund.
I like that as an ad, thank you.
Yeah. So any questions on that?
Any questions on our July finances? We would require a motion to approve the unaudited financials with changes as noted.
I'll move. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I will call for the vote. Director Kelly?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Hepburn?
Yes.
Director Ralston?
Yep.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. Into the obviously most exciting event or item of the agenda. And actually, I'd say it's kind of a full one. We're going to be talking about the July board meeting and the August one as well.
The annual as well, because the first was on a Friday.
Yeah.
So everybody's perfectly happy with golf courses is what I understand.
That's on my list. Let's start with the more important stuff.
We're creating a task force at SOA to rewrite our rules and regulations. Well, that's going to go into effect in the future. I'm sure many of you have heard about, we had some problems with our design committee, and we've taken for action. We've assigned a new member as a rep and worked with the staffing on the design committee to make, hopefully we won't have those issues anymore.
What kind of staffing changes?
Brad Banta is going to be the liaison, and
I don't know.
We had our election results were announced, and we had 1,666 people voted, homes voted, which is a little better than normal. So that was a good turnout. And with the capital transfer fee, we're kind of in a flux a little bit right now. We kind of some review form in October about it. But there's been a lot of, as far as owners' comments, some of you were at the annual meeting, and that was the second biggest topic was the transfer fee and whether we should do it and what it should go for. And the thing that comes to the top of everybody for getting money to do is putting that circle pathway between circles 2 and 3, because it's a hazard. With no pathway there, it's one place you can ride your bike, and when you're going over the tunnel for the golf, it's dangerous.
Mhm.
So we're in fact, I was just talking to James, and he's working with the landowners over there to get an agreement to where we can put the path, so that'll get done at some point. It's a $2 million project, so paying for it's gonna be an issue. The other stuff, the transfer fees focusing on is more towards improvements of like Mary McCallum and Fort Rock Park, those kind of things. But that's kind of secondary. So that's going to still be in the process of working on that one. And lastly, the golf issue is we're still fighting. As those were at the meeting, over half the people who addressed the board, it was about the resort. And we got to work with them. We can't tell them what to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds like that transfer fee votes got pushed out. That was the.
It's going to probably be, yeah, it probably might be delayed a little bit. Yeah.
Which is good. I'll sign before that happens.
Want to do it right instead of force it through.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.
That's it.
Well, I'd like to add, if you guys read the SROA notes, the briefing that Randy gives SROA about what we're doing is phenomenal. I mean, it's really great. He's bringing what we're supposed to do, which is tie the two together as much as we can under circumstance. So.
Right. We may be divorced, but we still have to live.
We're amicable.
Yeah.
Kids.
We got kids, exactly.
Divorce, but live together, right? Okay.
Because we can't afford to move out.
Can't afford to move.
Yeah,
out.
nope,
Right.
exactly.
Additional questions on SROA or any discussions? I guess the question I have, because I think you've already approved the new rules committee.
Yes.
What's our representation on it? Ashley?
Yes. As necessary.
Yeah.
The way the wording is, she won't be at every meeting, but if it's something to do it.
Okay,
In
yeah.
years past, there's been a board member present as well from the district. So,
But you didn't have a community service officer position in the past either, so.
right, so I just didn't know if the board was,
I don't know if that's up to you. If you guys feel differently, we thought that she's the perfect fit, because she's the.
of course. I'm not negating that whatsoever. I just was saying, and historically, a board member's been there as well, so I didn't know if that was
If you
something.
guys feel differently, I can go back to the board and.
Well, we were always in attendance kind of in the September, how did we do for the year
I was
meeting?
gonna go.
This is a separate rules task force.
Right.
At the,
So, I'm part in the task force, but the rules and regulation meeting, that's usually the one, just one in September.
That's in September, and yes.
Okay, all right. You bet, okay.
But to that, I think it would be useful in the or in the rules meeting that we jointly have in September, pretty sure it's September, that we actually have a discussion on what what's the task force trying to accomplish. And I'm perfectly comfortable with Ashley. I think she's
Sure.
been phenomenal on it.
And one of the big parts is the pathway rules, as we all know, with the e-vehicles
Yes.
and all the other issues going on.
Yeah, but there might be just some revisits. We might have to hold an additional joint meeting somewhere along the way in terms of if the rules go this way, are they enforceable? And I would like the board and the chief involved in discussions like that.
Yeah, if we get to that level, that makes sense.
Okay.
Take up.
All right. Good job. Any additional questions for Randy? We appear to be out of items. Is there any other items not on the agenda for the good of the order today?
Just one more, and just a thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's, thank you. All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I will look to our two departing members to.
Oh.
Second.
We have a motion. All right. And we'll even go that way. The call for the vote, Director Ralston? Yep. Director Hepburn?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes, and we are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Yes.
Now you're way out the door.
And welcome to our two future board members. I see Bill trying to class up to join our.